Another trick you can use if you don't want to hear the same audio clip over and over again, you can use a little bit of code to change which audio clip is played. Now for the bad, I've got 3 audio clips, and I can see them here just as easily as I could see them over in Blend. So I've got bad, I don't think so, and So for 3 of them, I'm going to create a temporary variable that I can use. So I'm going to create that right here. I'm going to say int which clip is 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this temporary value holder for me, and each time I'm going to say a clip, and then I'm going to increment that number so it will keep going through which clip I'm going to use. Let me go back to Blend, and let's create new storyboards for those other 2 WAV files. I don't have my window loaded event trigger, and I'm in the default timeline, so I'm going to add the I don't think so. Switch back to the default, delete my window loaded, and add the So now I've got my 2 new timelines, I don't think so wave and wave. Let's switch back over to Visual Studio. Let's find those storyboards. And the last one. Okay, now I've got all 3 of my storyboards. I need to decide which one I want to call. So how about if which clip is 0, we'll run bad storyboard. Else, if which clip is 1, you can see that here the else clause can branch into another if clause, so I can create a, well, if it's this, do this, if it's this, do this, and multiple selections. So here I want to use the don't think so storyboard. And finally, if it's neither of those, I want to start the storyboard. Now if you're following this logic, if which clip is 0, it'll play 1. If which clip is 1, it'll play the next, otherwise it'll play the third. But at no point in here am I actually modifying which clip, so which clip is always going to be 0, so it's always going to play the bad storyboard. Well, to get it to go through them, I'm just going to say which clip plus plus. This is another one of those developer lines that says increment the value of which clip by 1. It's similar to that plus equals, except a lot of developers find a case where they just want to increment something by 1 or decrement something by 1. The plus plus operator lets you do that. Now the only problem I have now is once I get to 2, as soon as I increment it again, I'll end up at 3, which is going to keep playing the storyboard because I'm going to keep looping on the same value. One more quick line. If which clip. Now you'll notice here I forgot to capitalize the W. That's okay because if I let the IntelliSense kick in, it'll make sure that all the capitalization is fixed for me. So if which clip is equal to 3, I just want to reset it back to 0. So you take a look at how this code looks. We get our 3 storyboards up here. Depending on whether which clip is 0, 1, or 2, we play one of those. We increment so that we're about to look at the next one. And then if we go off the end, we loop back to the beginning. Let's take a look at how this works. I press F5 to run it. And once again, I forgot to delete that from my window loaded. That's a common mistake. It's easy enough to fix. So let me start my new game. Type a bad word.
Bad.
Type it again.
I don't think so. Bad.
You'll see that each time I type
so.
it, the next audio clip in the clause is played, and they're in a cycle. Now, as you get more comfortable with the .NET framework, it's not too difficult to hook up, say, a random number generator and have even more audio clips so that each time they pick something, it randomly selects from a set. Now, the last couple things to do, I'll leave as an exercise for you. You need to hook the already used audio clip up to the appropriate event, and you should probably delete that event trigger that I left behind.